Hey, everybody.
Yo.
Welcome to the Wrestling Through the Years podcast. I'm the DIZ Dizzle. I'm here with the handsomest head in the history of pro wrestling fans, Dutchie.
Yo.
And we're here with Mr. C Money.
Yo.
How the hell we doing, boys?
Pretty good. Eric will be here shortly, hopefully.
E Nasty. He'll be here at some point.
Yeah. I just want to start off real quick. We got a lot to get to, but I just want to say RIP Chuck Norris. And also congratulations, Dennis Rodman going to be inducted in the WWE Hall of Fame.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I already heard some people complaining about that, and as a big WCW fan, I think he definitely deserves it.
Yeah.
With the amount of celebrities that have gone in, and I get it, it's a WWE Hall of Fame, so why the fuck put Rodman in? But I think they own WCW, and they put plenty of guys that never really did much in WWE in there. So
yeah, great mood and never wrestled for WWE.
Yeah,
and he got in.
So it's the Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So I like it. I like him. I mean, he was a big impact. That's when celebrities really meant a lot to the product, and it was really like they had him, and WWF had Tyson.
Right, exactly.
And even though that match with Macho was kind of god awful,
yeah,
a lot of the tag matches he was good at.
Well, yeah, because he had people to help him in the tags.
I always enjoyed him as a character, and he helped made the NWO look cool.
Yeah, exactly.
He really did. But we're doing part 2 of what has been, our biggest episode in a while.
Yeah.
And it's the golden era stars of the WWF, our top 50. We did, 50 through 25 last week?
Yep, 50 through 25.
Who started with 24 today?
We listed, yes, we're starting with 24. When we're done with the list, we'll give some honorable mentions that didn't quite make the list, but just guys that we think deserve some appreciation. Because what this is a tribute to that era and how much, we love it and all the stars that help make it. So we will get into that at the end, but we don't want to give away who's not on the list. So,
right.
I will go very sharply and fast through the 50 through 25. You want to trade off, Doug?
Sure. Sure.
At 50, we have Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
49 was British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith.
48 is Big John Studd.
47 was the Brooklyn Brawler.
Which Clint is still writing petitions about.
I know, I got most of them.
46 is Haku.
45, Bob Backlund.
44 is the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart.
43, Mr. Fuji.
42 is Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
41 was the bad guy Razor Ramon. Another one where we were kind of scratching our heads.
40 is Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
39 was the Big Boss Man.
38 is the Ultimate Warrior.
37 was the King Harley Race.
36, Magnificent Morocco.
Yeah. 35 was the Rick the Model Martel.
Yeah, we can't fuck up Martel. 34 is Smash.
Yeah. 33, George the Animal Steel.
32, Shawn Michaels.
31, the other half of Demolition, Axe.
30, the Iron Sheik. Sheiky Baby.
Yeah. 29, Miss Elizabeth.
28, Junkyard Dog, JYD.
Yeah. 27, Yokozuna.
26, Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff.
And then 25 was Sensational Sherry.
It'd be hilarious if we lost track and just went through the rest of the list on accident.
You know, I was hoping you would have.
Save me a couple hours.
Clint is just like, I want to eat before SmackDown. It's going to take a while.
But let's start out on this great list. We named a lot of superstars, and we have a lot of stars left to go.
By the way, this was a fan vote list.
It is a fan vote.
Yeah. So 3 groups, Wrestling Through the Years, Wrestling in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and Primetime Toys all helped contribute. So this is their opinion.
Yeah, that's Doug's disclaimer, like, don't shoot us.
Yeah.
Here's a quote I would like to say. Yeah. It's their list, not ours.
Yeah. I didn't vote. I put up some poll options, though.
Yeah. Like we all put up options. They voted. I think Eric and I were like the only 2 that actually voted. I only voted like 3 times though. So
I wasn't registered.
Yeah. You and Clinton are kind of just tell us what we have to do.
That's what me and Clinton are always doing.
Yeah, just tell us something. Because number one, I don't really check face. Well, even though it says I'm on Facebook, I'm not on Facebook.
Yeah.
My phone's just logged in on Facebook 24/7.
Yeah. And I think I was gonna tag you like in some of the polls or whatever, but I just ended up not doing it because I just kept forgetting. And I'm like, you know what? They'll just read off the list. They'll just be as surprised as everybody else.
Yeah, I like being surprised. I don't want to be fired unknowing, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
The fact that the Brooklyn Brawler is on the list is proof it's the ignorant wrestling fans list.
By the way, former WCW enhancement talent Bob Cook. That's who that is.
Well, there you go. Well, maybe you wanted to throw shade behind anonymous.
Yeah.
But I mean, Brooklyn Brawler. You said last week Bob Cook should be on the list before him, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like I even said, there's like plenty of guys that should be on.
Yes. This is a jobber talent.
Right.
Yeah.
So you ready to
which I don't even like it enhancement as much. Not that I'm being like that about the words and stuff, but if you put on a good match, you're a wrestler. Yeah. Everybody that puts on their boots is wrestlers in my book. You know, we don't do it. Like, if you get in there, you're a worker, whether you're putting people over or not. Just my lone opinion on it. Yeah. Is Eric here?
Quit hitting the button, you moron.
I mean, Eric keeps popping in and out. All right. At 24, we have Earthquake.
All right.
Hi to you too, guys.
John Tenta.
Yeah. I believe, well, technically, he's not the first person managed by Jimmy Hart to make it on the list because Jimmy Anvil Neidhart did.
And Jimmy himself made it on the
list. But so this is going to be the first of heavy representation of Jimmy Hart's camp. Just a little, teaser for everybody out there.
Yeah.
And I actually think probably one of the more successful ones. Because if you think about it, this guy came in and originally the gimmick was he was going to be Earthquake Evans, a Canadian lumberjack managed by Slick. And then they had a different idea. They were trying to get Dino Bravo over.
Yeah.
So they gave him Earthquake as an insurance policy. And Earthquake got himself over.
You're damn right he did.
With the, especially with the feud with Hogan.
Isn't it crazy to think that Tugboat was supposed to do the Sergeant Slaughter turn?
Yeah. That was weird.
Going to be what, Chic Tugboat?
Yeah, that was the plan, was Chic Tugboat.
I think it was better pairing him up with Tenta. And the Natural Disasters is such a great team.
Yeah, the only thing I didn't like was them being turned babyface because they're such a big team. They should be heels.
Yeah, and he worked the best as a heel because when I think of Hogan and working with the great big guys, of course you're going to think of Andre. But to me, other big names that come to mind are Earthquake and Big Boss Man.
Yeah.
And obviously there's a lot more, but like I think he really helped accentuate what Hogan can do. He was a good Hogan opponent.
Yeah.
Because he was a big guy. It was believable. It's a jack dude versus just a big dude. And who's going to kick whose ass? And they made him look tough a couple times too. And their booking of him was really good in my opinion.
Yeah. Because they knew like how strong to make him. We're in here, Misty. But they knew, okay, he can't really take a lot of punishment. Jimmy Hart knew, even though it used to irritate me when Jimmy Hart would jump up on the apron 30 seconds into one of his matches.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, keep it short and sweet, have him beat up whoever he's in the ring with, and then we move on.
Yeah.
And he got to work some really good opponents. And then he was ready for Hogan. And, him and Hogan, it wasn't necessarily a great time for the business, but they did make money together and they had a really good feud.
Yeah. They had a great feud. And I think he was a solid big man.
Yeah.
He's in my top 3 of all time for big men. He had the look, he was effective, and this is his prime. This is the best Tenta that you're going to get. Not that the Shark wasn't fun in WCW. It was just a bad time when he came in. And then in the Attitude Era, it was nice to see him there, but the Oddities was obviously not the greatest
it was
idea.
not a good idea.
So I really enjoyed him in this era, and I think this is where he's at his best, and I think he deserves a spot. Some people might think it's high. I think it's actually like the perfect spot.
I would put him in top 20.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Now, 23, this is a matter of opinion because his big run, he's a territory guy, but his big run, is so polarizing.
Yeah.
And that's Sergeant Slaughter, who I personally, as a kid, just going back and watching like the VHS for the first time, because obviously I wasn't born yet. But when I was born, and I was a kid and eating up all the wrestling I could get, and Doug would give me his VHSs to watch. I would watch WrestleMania 7, right?
Yeah.
And WrestleMania 7 was Slaughter and Hogan. I thought it was a big deal. I thought that shit was like crazy as a kid. I understand at the time when they were like actually going through a war and the public opinion was kind of like, oh, this is in bad taste and stuff like that. I completely get that. But as a kid, I didn't really know that. And I just kind of like, oh, he's the evil guy and Hogan's sticking up for America. And I thought it always worked as a kid watching it. Now I can see where people would have some discrepancies with it. I will say for Slaughter doing that heel turn, he went all fucking in with it.
Yeah.
He went all in, and like I feel bad for him for receiving like death threats and people like him, because it's probably a scary time for him. But he was a damn good heel in that period. And because he's known for being like, he is a superstar that like being a part of G.I. Joe and
oh
shit,
yeah, exactly.
like he's a wrestler that everybody fucking knew. He was super popular in his own right. So to do this, it was a good idea. And I know they're pivoting after Warrior and stuff like that, but him and Hogan, I do think it was a good program. It's not the most tasteful for the time, but they were trying something. And yes, the business was winding down a little bit, but I don't think it's Slaughter's fault. And I think that for what he was given, he was trying his ass off.
Yeah, he was. And that was the thing, is that like with Slaughter, he's given this opportunity. They're like, all right, we're going to put the belt on you. And then you're going to work with Hogan. You're the Iraqi sympathizer. Okay, cool. And then it's just like, oh, crap. By the way, we're going to war.
Yeah.
With Iraq. So, take that however you will.
Yeah.
And his work, like he was a typical brawler, but he did have really good chemistry. I mean, even in like 84 when he was there and he started doing the babyface Sergeant Slaughter stuff and working with Sheik. And then, he went away for a while and then comes back and does this thing. And, him and Hogan, the feud was good. And then, when they turned him babyface, when he got his country back and started teaming with Hacksaw, he definitely deserves to be on this list. Some people might say, okay, well, he's 23. Do you think maybe that's a little high? I would still put him top 20.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, he definitely belongs on this list. These next 3, though, are probably going to have to take a lot of explanation.
All right.
Oh boy.
Well, let's get into it. At number 22, we have Animal.
Animal of the Legion of Doom. Again, a lot of people say, oh, well, he was a NWA guy. He came in the golden era with Hawk.
Yeah.
and they had some success, and they were super over. And by the way, they sold merchandise. I talked about it last week, how they were one of the top merchandise sellers.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the
Wait, did one of you assholes just scoff me?
I think you
I didn't say anything to you.
You know, I had to cough.
Oh,
God forbid Eric can't fucking breathe.
Wow.
Still
Wow.
But
it sounded like a scoff.
A scoff. Yeah. You know what? It's not really well, okay.
I
I'll show you a scoff, all right.
but this Animal and the Legion of Doom, to me, it's kind of the same case of Harley Race and JYD. And a lot of these territory guys that, yes, weren't completely in their prime anymore, but were still majorly fucking over.
Yeah.
And got huge pops when they came out and did some fun shit still. So, yeah, you're not in Crockett anymore, and it's not the main event in cages and them fucking and war games and shit and the famous Road Warrior pop. And they're not those Road Warriors anymore. But when they came out, oh my God, when they debuted, it's still one of the loudest fucking ovations anybody's ever heard. So I understand it. And for a long time when I was a kid, I thought of the Legion of Doom as just like a golden era tag team because that's all I didn't have Crockett tapes. We didn't have those. We had, WWE tapes and WCW, eventually.
Yeah.
But so as a kid, I would completely be like, hey, yeah, they belong on the list. And I still think they probably belong on the list. It might be a little high, but the Legion of Doom were majorly over still.
Yeah. Like I said, they sold a lot of merch.
Yeah.
I mean,
some in the golden area, I do believe that some people still went to those shows for them. So that means they do belong.
Oh, 100%.
And we'll get right into it. 21 is Hawk.
Yeah. This was the only tag team that was basically voted like right next to each other. Because, Animal and Hawk, they didn't do anything else. They just teamed with each other. At least like with Demolition, Bill was Mass Superstar and one of the Masked Machines, and Barry was Repo Man. Yeah. So you could differentiate that. Brett and Anvil, they had different runs, as well. So you could differentiate that. Same thing with Sean and Marty, which is why Sean made the list. And anyway, I don't want to deliver spoilers. But
I didn't think they would be this high, but they were very popular.
That's the thing. They were. And the Road Warriors are always going to be the Road Warriors. Or the Legion of Doom is always going to be the Legion of Doom.
Yeah. Yep. And the WWE gave them Legion of Doom, right?
Yeah, that was their...
Which is an amazing name.
Well, Legion of Doom, they were in a stable called the Legion of Doom.
Oh, okay.
That Animal came up with after watching an episode of Super Friends.
Which, I mean, yeah.
Because the villains in that show are called the Legion of Doom.
Which is a way better villain name than the Super Friends is a hero name.
Yeah.
Which the Super Friends is really the Justice League, and the Legion of Doom is really the crime syndicate in the comics.
Yeah.
But
so Animal came up with the idea, and it was the two of them, Paul Ellering, King Kong Bundy, and Jake the Snake Roberts. And I think also the Spoiler. So, and then when they came here, they're like, all right, well, you can't be the Road Warriors.
Yeah.
Which that was already under trademark anyway because of the Mad Max movie. Which, Crockett had been getting away with using it. And then they're like, all right, well, you can't be the Road Warriors. What else can you be? And then Animal's just like, well, we were in a stable called the Legion of Doom.
Yeah.
And Vince is like, okay, use that. So, but yeah, so they didn't really do a lot, separate. It was mainly together, which is why they're so close together on this list.
That makes sense. Yeah, I was a Legion of Doom fan. I did like watching them as a team.
Right. So, I don't know if a lot of people would put them there. I mean, I think this is a decent enough spot for them, again, because of how popular they were and how much merch they sold.
Yeah. They deserve it.
Yeah.
Now, I can see what you're saying about the next one, because number 20, this is pretty fucking high for the year that he was there. Arn Anderson.
One of the brain busters. I really think people just saw Arn Anderson's name on the list, so they're like, all right, we'll give him a vote.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll give him a vote.
I don't even think he belongs in the top 50. And I do love me some Arn, and I do think Arn was fucking, he was over in WCW, and he was always a big deal in the territories and stuff, and being Ric Flair's right-hand man. And he was a great promo. He was great in the ring. But his year as a tag team with Tully, even though they did hold the belts,
yeah,
and they were pushed as a major tag team, I don't think it's enough. Compared to every other guy on this list, I think you can make a case for it, even Brawler. But his stint wasn't. It was effective, and it was a big stint, but it's like having the Steiners on the list.
right.
That's a WCW guy that when he was in that top 50, absolutely, let's do it. This, I don't see it. I love Arn, but I agree
with you there.
Yeah, I think it's kind of an over. I think you're completely right. People see Arn Anderson, they're going to vote for Arn Anderson because people love Arn, and I don't blame.
I think I did that.
But
I agree with you.
I just think everybody else on the list had more of a dent in the golden era for WWF than he did.
Yeah. By the way, Tully almost made it. Like, we talked last week about Tito Santana getting the snub. Technically, Tully was the other snub.
But that's crazy to think. Like, who was way more in the golden era and like a character on television? Tito Santana or Tully Blanchard?
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, they both ended up not making it, obviously. But it ended up being. Huh?
And don't get me wrong. Do I like Tully's career better? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I do. And I love Tito, and it's no offense to Tito. But, Tully, that cage match with the TA is still one of my favorites of all time.
Right.
I mean, Tully is the man in his own right, just not there.
Yeah. Well, and because it's funny. So, like, they were in the tie-breaking vote. It was either, they were either going to make it or, Brutus or Davey Boy. And, I put the Primetime Toys. They're the group that broke the tie. And I was talking to some of them, and they're like, Tully? Really? Tully's actually, like, in consideration for this? And, yeah, like, people voted for him. There's even people in Primetime Toys that voted for him and Arn to make the list. So again, it's a case of, I see his name, I'm going to vote for him. It was the same thing with Harley Race. Yeah. It's going to be the same thing with a couple of guys that are going to be up in the top 10 territory.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Tully was an asshole in real life, good in the ring, but not a nice guy. That tracks from what I've heard.
Yeah. But yeah, so so Arn Anderson, love him to death. He ranked number 3 in the WCW countdown. Well deserved, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Here, I don't know if I would go 20.
Yeah, I agree. All right, 19.
This is going to be another one where people are going to be like, really? 19?
I kind of like it, though. The Honky Tonk Man, the greatest Intercontinental Champion.
I have no problem with it. I was like, the fact that he ranked this high and some of the guys he beat out for this spot, I was just like, wow.
I do think he was a character that kind of meant a lot for the time, though.
Yeah.
Like, he was like a fun character that I think when you think of this era, your mind does go towards the Honky Tonk Man at some point. And just the opposite, Arn was awesome in the ring and out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard, and this is the guy commenting is somebody that was actually in the business and could talk about it way more than us. Just a bunch of fans. But so that's why I'm going to take his word for it. But I've heard bad words about Tully, and I've never heard bad words about Arn.
Yeah, and
I've never heard anybody say anything about Arn.
Now I don't know if he ever had the privilege of sharing a ring with Arn. I mean, Arn did work a little bit of babyface, so maybe. But yeah, no, I definitely take his word for it.
Yeah, but yeah, especially the locker room's big, you
Yeah.
know. But it's nice. It's nice getting some insight, so we definitely appreciate that.
Oh, absolutely.
On the behind the scenes. But in front of the camera, I think Honky Tonk was fucking hilarious. And I think he was fun. Yes, he did.
He did get to work with
You're
Arn.
incorrect, Doug.
Yeah. I said I wasn't sure. Oh,
1989.
89. Yeah, when Arn came back.
There you go.
All right.
So I do think Honky Tonk was an entertaining character, and I feel like he made Warrior in one night. Yeah, like, of course, you know, Rick Rude, I think, had a lot to do with it, too, and Andre and stuff. But him getting that Intercontinental belt off Honky was a big fucking moment, man.
Yeah.
That was fun, and it was awesome. It was like, it was fast, and it was everything you needed it to be, and it was super fun. And I think Honky's just a great character, and I've had the privilege of meeting him at a convention or two. And he gets kind of a bad rap sometimes, but he was always a nice guy to me. Yes, he's very opinionated on the business, but everybody, you know, who's in it has a right to be.
Yeah,
who isn't critical of the business?
Well, we know the fan. You go on Twitter, fucking everybody, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
that's why this show really is just a love letter to the business, because it's what we love. And yes, we have talked our fair share of shit too, but we love wrestling.
Yeah,
exactly. And I love watching wrestling. I love getting to talk about guys that, you know, haven't gotten talked about in a while.
Which a lot of this list is some of those guys.
Well, yeah, because especially now with the current product, a lot of the 30-year-olds and stuff are kids that grew up maybe just at the end of the Attitude Era, and like there's a lot of nostalgia for the Ruthless Aggression era, which is crazy. Like with the whole Cena stuff, and like it's just, and even AJ leaving now, like a lot of people have been. It's not so much, which is crazy because, you know. And you got it when Hogan passed. You got, you know, a lot of people talking about that era, which is, you know, you don't want someone to pass for you to talk about it. But in RIP to the Hulkster. But when I was like first started in the Ruthless Aggression, this was the era that we got talked that, like, that's what JR was bringing up all the time. That's what everybody was. And Corey Graves still does from time to time. And a couple people.
When Bradshaw was around, Bradshaw would always bring it up.
But I would love for more, just like, oh, that reminds me of Rick Martel or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, like, because and that's what's great about wrestling is I do think it's celebrated a lot and it deserves it.
Yeah, exactly.
And especially for the big moments. And a lot of the biggest moments that like because when you think of this era, this is the era that gives you WrestleMania. Yeah. And Vince like told all the guys, at least per Tito, that if this don't work, we're screwed. Like we have to fucking do this and make this thing go national and succeed. And they did, and here we are. And that's all because of this era. Wrestling could have easily faded out after territories and stuff, which I'm so glad it never did. But it's because of this era that it kept chugging on and like was water cooler talk. This was the first time it was water cooler.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it was national. But fuck yeah, Honky Tonk Man. Now, someone that was never your favorite, Doug, but I do think belongs on the list. Number 18 is Greg the Hammer Valentine.
Oh, here's the funny thing. And I am not going to disrespect the man. I do think that he was a very important part of the era. I do think that, you know, when he was, you know, because a lot of people have criticized how he left WCW in 92, but we're not going to talk about that. I will say that, like, he was kind of given, you would almost kind of expect him to be one of those guys that would take a lot of falls. But when they did the gimmick with him, when he had the shin guard, and he's the one that, you know, injured superstar Billy Graham and took him and basically made Graham just become a commentator. He was given a run, and by the way, him and Ronnie Garvin got a pay-per-view match a submission match at the 1990 Royal Rumble and went 16 minutes. And a match that, not necessarily two guys that were like super over, but the best workers on the card. And they got to show, hey, we can wrestle.
Yeah.
So
I do kind of wish we did see more submission matches.
Yeah. And then he got, when they turned him babyface, I'm not necessarily, I didn't necessarily think that was a good idea because he was always a better heel.
Yeah, he was.
But yeah, I mean, obviously he belongs on this list. Would I have ranked him 18?
Are you a rhythm and blues fan?
I thought him and Honky gelled well as a team. Yeah. I'll never forget when they sang the that Honka Honka Burnin' Love, or that Honka Honka Love, or whatever the hell it was. Afterwards, Gorilla Monsoon said, "If you hung the hammer for being a good singer, you would hang an innocent person." And the thing is that Valentine was just trying to lip sync, like he was trying to follow Jimmy Hart's lips, and Jimmy Hart was just lip syncing.
All right. 17, King Kong Bundy.
The master of the 5 count.
The main event of WrestleMania 2.
Yeah.
That was a steel cage at WrestleMania 3, right?
At WrestleMania 2, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, never been my cup of tea, but I do think he's hugely impactful. He was a big opponent for Hogan, and he did draw some money. So I don't want to take anything away from him.
Yeah.
I do feel bad for the fall off of going from the main event to not that working with Hillbilly Jim's a slider.
No.
But and the little folk. But because that was an entertaining match. But going from the main event to like the third, fourth match on the card is kind of a fall down.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's still, I do think he's impactful, and I do think that he means a lot to the era. This might be a little high for me, but this is a fan vote, and I want to give him the respect he deserves because he was a big deal.
The funny thing is, and I'm not knocking him, but if he were still alive today and he would see like some of the names that would come after him, like the fact that, and spoiler alert, Bret Hart is going to be ranked higher than him. The fact that Bret Hart is going to be ranked higher than him, if he were alive, he would come looking for us right now. Because
if you ask me, I expect Bret Hart to be ranked higher than him.
Well, I'm getting ready to explain. He thought smaller guys on top killed the business.
Yeah. Bundy's also funny as hell.
Oh my God. When he basically grabbed Sean Oliver by the tie, and he's just like, and he's like, "What did you say?" And Sean Oliver's like, "You can kill me if you want, but please don't damage my microphone. It costs too much money." But yeah, he was one of those guys that he didn't like the fact that smaller guys could work on top.
Yeah.
Like
he was a big guy.
Yeah.
That kind of jeopardizes his shit. So
yeah, exactly.
You can't blame anyone for thinking.
Well, no, I don't blame him. I'm just saying is that like that's what he said. And
it's like I don't blame Shawn Michaels for thinking the business should be smaller because he was smaller.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So like he's gonna so again, if he were around, he would more than likely be.
He would hate the current product.
Yeah. Oh, he would get mad at all the wrestling fans for not accepting Roman Reigns.
Can you imagine him on AEW?
Oh God!
Oh my gosh. I was just about to say he would not.
I would have loved, R.I.P. By the way, I would have loved to have heard him like do like a podcast or something about AEW. If AEW or he might have even been gone before AEW was even a thing, but that is true.
Yeah,
because it was a bad time for the business.
And this is just for somebody that I love his in-ring stuff though, and I don't attribute that to him. There was a lot of bad shit while he was on, like all this golden era stuff. Hogan had great undercards.
Yeah.
He had great, mid-card talent before him, to whereas Brett had Bastion Booger and shit before he was going out and doing his thing. So I don't completely blame him, but I definitely can see where Bundy is coming from.
Yeah.
But I'm a Brett guy. I enjoy him, and he's another one that's Bundy's a great shoot. Bret Hart is one of the better shoots of all time. Shoot interviews.
Yeah,
he is. If you want him to he was just making fucking headlines like 3 months ago for saying that Vince was fucking Sean. It was so good. Yeah. He's just so. If you want an unfiltered opinion, Bret Hart's a good place to go.
And Bundy, it's not like he said he hated Bret Hart. He just didn't like the fact that Bret was on top. Like he even said he made a comment about Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho seems like the nicest guy in the world.
Yeah.
But I've taken bigger craps than Chris Jericho.
And to Bundy and Mr. Cook's point, business was hot with Hogan. Bret takes over. Business isn't as hot.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah.
Maybe they were trying to go smaller before the rest of the world was ready. The world did get ready for it. And, Stone Cold's not the biggest guy.
Yeah.
He's not short or nothing. He's like an average sized person. But, and The Rock was built and stuff like that.
So there's a story, a real quick story before we move
Who's
on.
the best little guy to get over? Who's the most impactful, like, smaller dude that was a star, arguably? Is it Punk?
Ray.
Ray, yeah.
I mean, I would say Ray's probably the most beloved.
I think Ray's. I'll give Ray's because Ray was the first world champion.
He was, but was he a bigger draw at his height than Punk? I mean, they both have sold fucking,
Well, if you're going by height wise,
the amount of little kids with that mask is insane.
Because Ray was, to me, Ray's a cruiserweight, where Punk's more like a middle to heavyweight.
Right.
Yeah. But you look at him next to Roman Reigns, he's not a big dude.
Right. Right, exactly.
Tell your story, my man.
One quick story before we move on here about Bundy. At the old Pro Wrestling World in Allentown, Pennsylvania, it's about an hour away from here, hour and a half. Bundy did a signing years ago with Scott Hall.
Yeah.
They were both there. It was like one of the big fan events. Scott Hall, according to Brutus Beefcake, who apparently was in attendance for this, and I think Sean Mooney has either Sean Mooney or Jim Cornette or one of them has also backed it up. Scott Hall had had a little bit to drink.
Okay.
Or this is what Brutus had said.
Yeah.
Even though Scott had been clean up to that point. But there was Scott Hall was just irritating the crap out of Bundy.
Yeah.
So Bundy had enough and took a shot at him.
Wow.
In front of everybody. And he's just like, if you don't leave me alone, I'm going to kill you. And I think, they got him in between. Scott said, my bad, I apologize. Bundy's just like, ugh. And then that was it. But Bundy was Scott Hall was just being Scott Hall, and Bundy was just like, get away from me.
Yeah.
So
that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's one of those stories. I don't know if Bud Carson would actually like to tell it.
All right. After Bundy, number 16, and somebody who I think top 10 should be easily. I mean, this guy, when you're talking
how he's
about
not in the top 10, I don't know.
We were talking a little bit about our thoughts about some people that may not, maybe shouldn't be on the list. This is a guy that is the list. Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man.
Yeah. Which
to me, besides a certain manager that we might see later, I think is the best heel of this era. And I love Jake. I love a lot of the great heels of this era. I think he's the Mr. Perfect. A lot of them. He's my number one heel for a wrestler. He's my number one heel.
You think he beats out Rude?
I think he beats out Rick Rude.
Okay.
Because he worked more on top. He had good shit with Hogan. And Saturday night's main event, like the most watched thing in the world at that point. He was a major fucking set piece for that.
Yeah.
The whole thing with Andre giving him the belt and stuff like that. He was a huge deal. And he was a huge, like when you talk about who's the best guy to never win the belt, like actually, it's always him. He's always brought up in that discussion for a reason. And I love Rick Rude, and I love a lot of the other heels in this. I think this era is like some of the greatest heels you can get.
Yeah.
Even though it's like the babyfaces win a lot. And it's babyface.
Well, because it's babyface territory.
Yeah, but you had some great heels for all these great babyfaces to work with. And DiBiase, you can't get a bad match out of him. The promo's great. Like, he's a perfect wrestler. And he's like he's like, some people would consider him, I guess, smaller. But he was like, when you see him in the ring next to Hogan, like, he had good fucking size to him. So I
think he was 6'2", 6'3".
And he could work, like, he always could work. Like, from as soon as he started, he was great.
Well, his stepfather was Iron Mike DiBiase, a great professional wrestler in the Texas territories.
Yeah.
In the 50s and 60s. Unfortunately, had a heart attack, passed away in the ring.
R.I.P.
But so he learned.
Yeah.
He was a tremendous technician, great heel. By the way, in the $1 Million Corporation in the New Generation era, he managed King Kong Bundy. A little trivia note for you.
The man that brought in Steve Austin.
Yeah.
We might not get Stone Cold without Ted DiBiase.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm one of those where it's just like when I was counting the votes and I was just like, wait a minute, he's only going to be 16? Really?
I mean, and there's only so many spots, and I completely understand that. I just think he was the most effective. As when you think of moments like the stuff you're going to YouTube from this era is like him kicking the basketball away from the kid and stuff like that. Like, he was just such a great heel. His character work was on point. His in-ring work was on point. It's everything you could ask for. Like, he was a way better wrestler than Hogan. He made Hogan look great. He made everybody worked with look great. Like, he's like close to Flair territory in my book.
Yeah.
He didn't do quite as much, but like for the hottest era, being one of the hottest heels, it's still a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Well, who do you think is a bigger heel, though? DiBiase or Flair?
Well, Flair got to a point to where he just became so respected and beloved, and I don't think DiBiase ever got there. So, I mean, people think
DiBiase was never going to be a babyface with that character in WWF,
and he's a legend, and people still think of it. But it's when you see Ric Flair around on the street, you want to woo. And even nowadays, like he might, not be everybody's cup of tea, but there's something lovable about Ric Flair.
Yeah,
and so he could go either way more. He could go babyface, and when Rick would cut a passionate promo, like you could really like love him too. So maybe I'll go DiBiase's more of the heel. But Rick and Dusty, is my ultimate babyface versus heel thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Like he's just Rick was a great heel, but he was kind of the cool heel.
Yeah. All right. So DiBiase, a way better wrestler than Hogan. I disagree. You disagree that he was a better wrestler than Hogan, or?
Yeah, I said he's a way better wrestler. If you disagree with that, I mean, you have a right to your opinion. And Hogan was definitely a bigger star. But as far as in the ropes, I think DiBiase could wrestle circles. And I think he made Hogan look great, and that like showed you how great he was. But Hogan has been able to do a lot of shit too. And he's not just a leg drop. He is better in the ring than people have ever given him credit for.
Right.
He's got great psychology. But to me, DiBiase's better. All right. Number 15, and we were talking about this earlier, Bret Hart.
Yep, Bret Hart.
Wow.
Member of the Hart Foundation. Started, his singles run in the golden era. So obviously, I do believe he belongs on this list.
Yeah, and then he captains an era that everybody hates, and then he's kind of like the first great part of that Attitude Era.
Yeah.
Even though some people argue that it happened in Montreal, like when he goes, or like it doesn't start till after. But
I think he opened the door to the Attitude Era. Let's put it that way.
I agree, and I think 97 Bret Hart, you can put that up against anybody's year. Yeah, it's one of the best years.
Well, he even said, he goes, 97 was his best year.
Yeah.
He goes, yes, a lot of that stuff happened, but he even said, he goes, 97 Shawn was the best Shawn to work with.
Yeah. Like, it sucks the drama and stuff, but like that heel in the States, Bret Hart, but beloved in Canada, fantastic.
Yeah.
And that's when he got into his own on the microphone, because he was actually a damn good heel promo. And he, like, that's what, to me, that's his best year. But I think he's very effective in this era. I do think the tag team was one of the best tag teams. Him and Anvil had great chemistry. And when they would work the Rockers, obviously those two teams had great chemistry, and they were good with Demolition and other teams too.
Right.
I enjoyed the Hart Foundation, and just like Shawn, I mean, Shawn was way up there on this list, but and Bret's like way higher. I do think that it was cool seeing both of these guys start their like singles runs at the end of this era, and it's like, okay, this is the future, and then they both kind of ended up being that. You know, Shawn, it's undeniable Shawn had more of a run,
right?
I
thought Bret would be hot in the top 10.
I don't. I think this might even be a little. I would go like 25, 30-ish.
Yeah,
I want to say top 10 because of the name, just like similar to Arn.
I
mean, that new generation era, when we do that, he's won.
Yeah,
like it's not a knock on Bret Hart, but he's still coming into his own.
I kind of, well, I agree with Eric. I never thought I'd really say that, but hey, we're 47 minutes in. I really haven't thrown a shot yet.
It's the first jab. That's pretty good.
I think it's going on record, to tell you the truth.
I can't remember a time where I've gone almost 50 minutes without taking a shot at him.
I mean, I did come in 10 minutes late too, so
you really had to ruin the moment, didn't you?
Wow.
I had it coming.
You just open the door and says, "Here's my face. Come on and hit me."
Yeah. But anyway, I think before he, tried to get me to insult him more, I do think the fact that, you see a name like a Bret Hart and Arn Anderson, we're going to talk about, or we may or may not talk about like a Dusty Rhodes, an Undertaker, a Ric Flair.
Just give away the rest of the list, Nick.
I'm not going to say where they are.
Hulk Hogan. All right.
Yeah. But like, names like that, and it's just like, okay, they're gonna get votes.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Next up, somebody who undeniably belongs on this list at number 14.
Oh, this is what he was saying. Yeah, we talked about this.
R.I.P. Chuck Norris, Dennis Rodman in the Hall of Fame. We didn't say anything about Chuck Norris, so absolutely R.I.P. to Chuck Norris, one of the baddest asses of all time, and one of the real men. Just a tough motherfucker and just a cool guy, and stayed cool the whole time.
Yeah.
It's just because we're in an era where a lot of people that you thought were cool, they end up disappointing you at some point. And Chuck Norris never did. He was always a fucking bad motherfucker.
Yeah. Eric, Chuck Norris passed away, and Dennis Rodman is going to be inducted in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Which
I think we kind of Rodman died too. Wow.
No,
no,
don't start anything.
But undeniably, I think he belongs there. His shit with the NWO is revolutionary.
Yeah.
But yes, rest in peace to Chuck Norris. I grew up watching that.
Walker, Texas Ranger. Okay, here we go. From Mr. Cook, here's some trivia. When I worked for WWF in 1995, Shawn Michaels was cool as hell. Bret Hart was one of the biggest jerks there. Bret's nauseating bitterness takes him down a bunch of notches.
Whoa.
Hey, man, it's not an unpopular opinion.
A
lot of people do believe that. I mean, I was blowing Bret earlier, but I understand.
Because I think this was actually kind of the start, and Mr. Cook would know better than we would. But I think that was almost kind of the start of Bret, really hating the Clique.
Yeah, well, and I've always heard that there was two camps. You either love Brett and hate Sean, or you like Sean and you hate Brett, and that's the opinions from a lot of the boys that I've heard throughout the years, and a lot of the guys. That's been the public opinion either one. A lot more people I've heard have been on Brett's side though. Like this is like I've heard a lot of Shawn Michaels was a dick. Like that would kind of be, and he was there. But that would be kind of like a hot take from like a public opinion,
Yeah.
But public opinion doesn't always mean a fucking lick.
No, not at all.
So,
all right, number what?
14. Jake the Snake Roberts.
Wow.
Which I feel bad that he gets talked about kind of in a negative light for like after wrestling stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that it comes back around and he actually, fucking really cleaned himself up, and that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And
by the way, he's back. He's back with his ex-wife Cheryl.
So there you go.
Yep. I was gonna say, I sent you something earlier this week, Doug.
Yeah. It seems like he's happy, and that makes me happy, and that's awesome. But you cannot, when you talk about Jake Roberts, you got to talk about this Jake Roberts, and he was great in the territories too. But when he got there, and he got the Snake and Damien. And he was great as a heel, and he actually got over as a babyface because I love the Martel feud. And the blindfold match is, that's a polarizing match. I think it's cool. But I've always liked Jake Roberts. He's the guy that they bring up when it's like everybody around this era is fucking snapping to a Slim Jim, Macho Man, fucking yelling at the camera. And he could just get his, point across by talking just like this and having a calm, soothing, but he seemed like that. It was that serial killer, like that creepy vibe, but he was so like calm and measured that there was something kind of, off about him. And that's what made his promo special. The fact that he never really, and I know they teased the thing with Hogan, and I think they went back on it because he was getting cheered. I'm sure Sean had his moments, but I'm only going for my own person. Completely understood.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
But Jake Roberts is so fucking good back then.
Yeah.
But I remember one of my earliest memories of watching like tapes when I was a kid was seeing the Snake go after Macho.
Oh my God, that scared the crap out of me when I was little.
Like that was like such good storytelling and such vicious shit for a heel to do. Like it's like bad guys in wrestling is like, I kick you in the nuts or I give you an eye poke. This motherfucker had a snake bite another man. And it was badass. And he was so over as a heel. And the fact that him and Hogan didn't have like a stretch of pay-per-view things, which I understand. Like I said, they were doing something. They were going to tease something, but then he was getting cheered. So they walked.
So he hit a DDT on Hogan during a snake pit, which was his talk show. And he hits the DDT. He picks up the belt, and the fans are chanting DDT, DDT, or they might have also been chanting Jake. Yeah. And Vince is just like, "We can't have that, pal. You're supposed to be the heel." And Jake's just like, "They like me better." He goes, "Yes, that's the problem." So you're not getting. So he didn't get the run.
It's like what happened last week with Randy.
Yeah, but I think because they've already pretty much, set it in stone. See, that's live television. You can't erase. You can't have one of those Men in Black things that erases your memory.
I'm sure they wish they fucking.
Triple H is probably looking for one of them.
I could still see a double turn. A double turn could still happen.
Yeah.
A double turn's not out of the window of Randy turning back face and Cody turning heel.
Now, and again, I don't want to, we're talking about Golden Era.
Yeah.
This is current. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, but at least it's two Golden Era's guys' sons.
Yeah.
It's the Dream and Cowboy Bob's sons.
Yeah.
So, which that was a good little niche of Randy saying wrestling doesn't just have one only royal family.
I wonder who he was on the phone with.
Who knows? But Yes, to bring it back, Jake Roberts, phenomenal talent. Would have loved to see the run with Hogan. Who knows if they would have had a chemistry because Hogan was better with bigger guys, barring DiBiase.
Yeah.
But Jake's psychology, he's considered one of the geniuses for a reason. His psychology was phenomenal.
Yeah.
He physical, aggressive, methodical. Just his in-ring shit was so special. And yes, it was a great character. Yes, he could talk, but what he did in between the ropes. And he's one of the first cases of like a legend coming back and you seeing oh, he was a star in that Royal Rumble 96.
Yeah.
When he just shows up and he's the biggest fucking pop and the biggest boo when he gets eliminated. And it's like, wow, fucking Jake Roberts, Jesus. And I'm a huge fan of Jake Roberts and totally deserved being here.
Absolutely.
Okay. Number 13, Superfly, brother.
Superfly Jimmy Snuka. He was huge in the start of the golden era. He came back in 89, kind of used to help get guys over. But everybody's going to remember the dive off the cage on Morocco.
Yeah.
And he was in Hogan and T's corner for WrestleMania 1. He was the innovator of a lot of stuff. And definitely, I'm surprised he's this high, to be honest with you. I would have figured maybe 20, 25.
Yeah.
I actually thought he would be, I thought he would be behind Brett, Jake.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty high. Is the leap off the cage in the golden era, or is that still considered territory?
Well, I mean, that's what I consider a golden era.
Okay.
All right. Now, whether or not everybody else does, I mean, there was 5 of us last week arguing when the golden era started.
Yeah, that's true. But there you go.
Because nobody could figure it out.
Problem with Jake is he was unreliable, and it's hard to have any confidence in a person like that.
Exactly. They had the same issue. NWA had the same issue with Kerry Von Erich.
Yeah. It's hard to put your all into a guy that, might fuck you.
Exactly. So, and we've seen it many times before. Why WWE didn't want to push Jeff Hardy for so long. Okay, next.
Number 12, we have Bam Bam Bigelow.
All right, this is another one that could probably people are going to be like, what? He had a run for a year from 87 to 88, and then he came in at the end of 92. 87 to 88, he was getting pushed pretty heavy. There was just one. Well, there were 2 issues.
What?
One was he treated a lot of the lower level talent, the guys, that would work the TV squash matches. He, according to some people, he did not treat them very well.
Yeah.
One of the people that saw that he didn't treat them very well and got upset about it was a big 7-foot-something giant who, when you piss him, all you have to do is piss him off one time and you're screwed for the rest of your life.
You can't piss the boss off.
You cannot. Yeah. And by the way, I'm talking about Andre for anybody that's having trouble keeping score.
I kind of figured, but
who I figured you were talking about.
Which that's 2 behemoths to hate each other,
Yeah.
Like Jesus Christ. Look, imagine being in the middle of that argument.
Yeah.
You were just can I go take a pee?
Yeah. And it's just Survivor Series 87 is a big, proponent of that. Bigelow had to go 3-on-1 against Andre Bundy and One Man Gang. And he got some offense in on the gang and on Bundy. Andre's just I'm kicking the crap out of you. And then they worked a garden match. They worked 6 minutes. Bigelow didn't get one shot in on him. And then Bigelow quit right after.
Fucking Bam Bam.
Yeah. So
I mean, he's a great character and a great big
man. Absolutely. And I feel like, he was a big part of the era. So, he does belong in this list. Is 12 too high? Maybe.
Yeah.
Damn, a bunch of bombs are getting dropped.
Good grief. That doesn't surprise me, though.
He refused to perform in Florida until he got a certain substance.
Unfortunately, I'm not surprised.
Do we want to guess the substance? I'm going to go coffee.
I know it definitely starts with a C.
All right.
Coke? I love Coke. I'm getting a Coca-Cola right now.
Yeah. You smart ass.
I'm very smart.
This year.
Sometimes too smart for this show.
Yeah, way too smart for this program. All right, number 11, we have Ric Flair, which Royal Rumble 1992 is enough.
Yeah.
He's one of the greatest, and his stint here was fucking memorable. It was kind of at the end of the golden era. And I do think he was a big part. WrestleMania 8 is your favorite of all time.
Yeah.
And he's a huge part.
So I'll stick up for Flair being on the list. Even again, 1992 Royal Rumble is enough to put him high enough on there.
Yeah. And this kind of cemented him as a GOAT too. Because you could have been great away from, but the fact that you came here and won the title, and he came with the belt originally. But when he comes and he wins the title in the Rumble and the Tirama! And that's a generational promo that helps make this fucking era. So he is, yes, a lot of people wanted to see him and Hogan, and only the live events really got to. But him and Macho is a better match. Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with that. Yes, Hogan and Sid isn't the greatest thing on earth.
Right.
But Macho and Flair, that's a money match. And even when they ran it back at WCW, it was great.
Yeah.
So Ric Flair didn't have a long run here, but memorable. Way more memorable than Arn.
Right.
No offense to Arn again, but what Rick was able to do in his, year or two?
Year and a half. Crap. 15 months.
And he was one where Vince brought him aside, said, "Hey, the business is going younger." And he's like, "All right, thank you. I'll go back to WCW. I'm cool." And it was very amicable. And they've always loved Rick and treated him with massive respect. He's the one legend that always got all the flowers.
Yeah.
Which I do think is deserved in a lot of cases.
Oh, I do too. I mean, I have my certain feelings about him now, but I'm not going to deny what he was back then.
Yep.
Yes. All right. Number 10.
Top 10, baby.
Top 10, baby. And we have the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, baby. Which I love. Yes, he's another one. Him and Rick's best stuff was against each other in the NWA. And it's not arguable. And a lot of the polka dots are ribbed, and they thought they were making fun of him. But his response of, "Well, I laughed my way to the bank." I don't give a fuck if it was a rib or not. He made the polka dots work. Him and Sapphire were a great duo. He was fantastic. He was entertaining. The vignettes were hilarious. Him being a plumber and shit.
Yeah.
Everything he did, he knew he wasn't the top guy, and he was cool with it. And he didn't give a fuck. And he's like, "I'll do good shit underneath. I'm making a lot of money, and this is awesome. And the business is hot. What else could I ask for?" So Dusty Rhodes, I do think, has a place here. And he was one of the bigger names in this era still.
Yeah.
And the Dream Team and Survivor Series and shit.
Right.
So
and when he got to work with Savage.
Yeah. So I love Dusty, and I think this is, even if you think 10's too high, I think it's a great spot for him, because I think he is one of the, he's one of the more entertaining guys ever.
I'm not going to complain about him being this.
And his theme song so fucking
perfect placement.
I'm not a big fan of this theme song.
Tree.
Don't get us copyrighted.
All right. But yeah, I love him.
Yeah.
And him and DiBiase had a good feud.
Oh, absolutely. When DiBiase bought Sapphire.
Yeah. Now, number 9 is a character that's lasted through the annals of time. That some people might have thought been a 2-3 year character that ended up lasting years and years and years. The Undertaker.
Yeah. Now, again, a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh, well, he's coming in at number 9 on the list." Absolutely. Absolutely. Awesome. He's coming in at number 9 on the list. I kind of like the placement because he was a top guy throughout throughout the entire rest of the golden era when he got there.
Yeah. 100% he was. He beat Hogan.
Yeah.
Nobody does that.
Right.
I mean, he beat Hogan for the fucking belt.
Yeah.
It wasn't the greatest first run. But this is where he starts his legacy. And this is when he becomes and he was always kind of on top. And he was a big fucking character for them. It was kind of, it was winding down and business was winding down. But he was one of the more memorable guys. When he came out, him and Paul Bearer from back then was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Dusty's best stuff in the WWF was in the 1970s with his feud with Billy Graham. Absolutely. That shit was cool.
Yeah.
And his son made a name off it with finishing the story and everything. So it ended up working out.
Exactly.
Undertaker's phenomenal.
Oh, absolutely.
Coco Beware isn't a fan.
Well,
that tombstone was nuts, though. He almost killed poor Coco.
Yeah, that was.
And then it's funny. I loved he had Hinchcliffe on, and they were talking back when he did the podcast with his buddy, and he told the story. He's like, "Yeah, I dropped Coco on his head." Coco kept bitching, and after a while, I kept saying, "I'm sorry." It's like, I can't apologize anymore to you. If you want to go outside, we can go outside. And the other guys are like, "So you're just gonna kick this guy's ass after you fucking dropped him on his head? You almost killed the poor bastard. Now you're gonna beat him up?"
Yeah.
But it's hilarious, and he definitely belongs on the list.
Oh, absolutely.
I love Taker.
Yeah.
Number 8, Mr. Perfect.
And this is again, this is another one of those where it's just like, all right, he's number 8. He's definitely up there because he was great in the ring, and the character was awesome. So, I mean, he got the run with Hogan. He was undefeated for a year. We don't have to talk about the fact that he, had to drop his, had to, get his winning streak on TV broken by Brutus.
Yeah.
But him and Brutus had a good feud going. And then he was Intercontinental Champion. He did the honors for Brett. He was Flair's executive consultant. I mean, he was definitely a good addition in the Attitude Era.
The Attitude Era,
not the Golden Era.
This is your fucking list, bro.
I know.
You wanted. Yeah, Mr. Perfect. What I said about you thinking about this era and thinking about Honky and thinking about the great vignettes with DiBiase.
Yeah.
You think about, well, not so much vignettes, but, his backstage stuff and his character work. Mr. Perfect had the best vignettes of this era.
Yeah.
Everybody still remembers throwing the basketball behind the head and making it and shit. And, Pat McAfee's been stealing the gum trick for as long as he's been on commentary.
Yeah, but they're not even letting him back on.
But Mr. Perfect, fantastic. One of the best in-ring workers of this era.
Yeah.
And this is when he was in his prime and he was putting on some of the best matches. And that's why it was like a perfect storm, because wrestling at its best gives you like everything that's good about wrestling in various stages, where you get the star power of a star power main event with Hogan on top. You get some great wrestling, maybe in the main event or right before it with Macho Man. And you have some great mid-carders. The Intercontinental title is called the Workhorse Belt because of Kurt Hennig.
Right. Exactly.
Other guys would go on and Michaels and other people, but he was the reason that's the Workhorse Belt.
Yeah.
So he was a workhorse, definitely earned his spot.
Exactly.
Which, he fucked Art over when he had his spot. But number 7, a guy that I would probably actually put in the top 3. The last manager on our list, ladies and gentlemen, to me, one of the most entertaining people ever. Bobby the Brain Heenan.
The fact that he, at one point, I actually thought he was going to end up being number one.
He's the most, and that's another one. Like we were talking about Arn, about someone that's never had a bad word said about them for being like kind of a career heel. Everybody has always loved Bobby Heenan.
Oh, absolutely.
In and out, like he is one of the most beloved figures in the history of wrestling, and it's so well deserved. And I love everything he's ever done, from like the fact that we haven't really brought it up, but this era, primetime wrestling is huge.
Yeah,
for this era, and he is primetime wrestling with Gorilla. So his commentary was phenomenal. He's one of the best heel managers ever, if not the best. Like I just watched WrestleMania 3, and that's his event. He's on screen like 100 times.
Well, and look at all of his guys that were on this list already. You know, Kurt Hennig. He managed Kurt Hennig for a while. You know, Stud, Bundy, Haku, Brawler, because he had Brawler for a little bit. Arn Anderson.
Yeah.
King Harley Race. He had a lot of those guys under his tutelage.
This might sound like a hot take, and the feud might not have been as direct, but if Stone Cold is the Hogan of the Attitude Era, Bobby's the Vince. Think about it though. Like the heel, no, he's not the owner, he's just a manager, but he's like the top heel that multiple people are feuding with.
Yeah.
And he's helping make multiple guys. And he co-signs like how Vince had the corporation, he had the Heenan family.
Yeah.
Like he was kind of the Vince of this era, of like the big heel figure that everybody and you always wanted to make an ass out of him, and he made himself look stupid multiple times and put him in the weasel outfit and shit. And when he would get into it, and fucking, he was so fucking good. Kind of like, because you can't just say manager,
right?
Color commentator. He had his own fucking talk show.
Yeah. By the way, he also did get in the ring and wrestle.
Yeah, he wrestled. Like he did everything there is to do in the business.
Now, you know, a little thing. One of his like many things on primetime. So he had an LJN that came out in '86, right?
Yeah.
And he had it sent to him. So he's opening up the box on primetime, right? And then he says like, God damn it, I got a paper cut. And then he opens it up, and Gorilla had screwed with it and put like a little weasel thing on it.
Yeah.
Before it got put in the box. And he's like, what is this? And Monsoon's just like, well, you are the weasel.
He told kids that Santa wasn't real.
Yeah, and then Roddy Piper beat the crap out of him while he was still wearing the Santa outfit.
Which wasn't the plan.
No. They thought they were trying to get him out of the Santa outfit before Piper got there to beat him up, but Bobby couldn't get the thing off.
He's so good. He's just the generational, character. And he's beloved for a reason because he was so fucking good.
Yeah.
And you go back, and it's not just, yes, this era is his peak where he's like seen by the most people. AWA Bobby's great. I love him on WCW television as a commentator. I know some people thought that he kind of stopped giving a fuck and he wasn't a fan of it and stuff. I thought he was always entertaining.
Yeah.
I thought he worked as the color guy with Shivani. Him, Shivani, and Tenay are great.
Oh, absolutely.
And I love Zabisco too, but just anything that he touched to me was always pretty close to gold. So I love Bobby Heenan, and I think top 3, but I'll take 7.
Yeah. And you met him, Doug.
Yeah. You were with me.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Duh.
All right. Number 6, the Ravishing One.
Ravishing Rick Rude.
Which world class.
Yeah.
He's in my top 10 of all time. I love me some Rick Rude because I think he was just not only a great character, but damn, he was jacked and he could work. So you have the look, you have the work rate, you have the promo, everything you need. He was the total package. No offense to Lex, but he was the guy. And he made Warrior.
Yeah.
Which was a hard job. And he's the one.
It was hard to do, but he got it done.
And Andre wasn't interested.
No.
but Rick made it happen. So will always, and to me, I love that upset.
Yeah.
One of the biggest upsets in WrestleMania, he beats the Ultimate Warrior. That's fucking awesome. Just everything he was able to do, he was a perfect heel. Like I said, I'm DiBiase, I would rank higher, but it's no offense to Rick Rude. He's right up there. To me, DiBiase, Perfect, and Rude just are the three heels in this fucking era.
Yeah.
And they're the three best wrestlers, too. And I love Rick at 90, like when he goes to WCW. I love that stuff, too. But here, incredible.
100%.
Just the perfect wrestler.
You want to give a little bit on Rude? Give your favorite match in memory.
My favorite match that Rick Rude ever did was SummerSlam '89 with the Warrior, when Warrior got the belt back. I felt like that was the best match Warrior had wrestled up to that point. I know everybody's going to say the Savage match. I think the Rude match is right up there with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, the most polarizing pick that we're going to have here.
Oh, yeah. Because of where he is.
You can tell that this is a smart mark list. No offense to the groups, but you can tell that this is more hardcore fans and not so much the people that...
Yeah, especially because of who's going to come after him.
Yeah. So number 5, which to me, and I love the guys that come after him, but it's not arguable. On my list, he's one. The immortal Hulk Hogan.
Is number 5.
Number 5.
Number 5?
Hulk Hogan's in the top 5, but which is insane.
By the way, he was going to be number 1.
Everybody was.
By the way, he and Rude, he won the tiebreaker over Rude. There was a point where he could have been number 6.
It's blasphemy. Without Hogan, the era doesn't succeed. I mean, he is this era. He is wrestling. He is national wrestling that fucking made them, the reason it's still on today is because of Hogan. And what he did with WCW and after the fact, that's for a different, even though we already did the WCW, but that's a different conversation, is him.
And there he was only 20.
Yeah. But he impacted, he has impacted the industry on multiple occasions. He's the fucking, I'm glad for the current stuff in Cena. He can be your GOAT. Hogan is the GOAT. And yes, not in between the ropes, doesn't fucking matter. Wrestling's about stars. People don't buy a ticket if you're not a star. I love good wrestling, and I might buy a ticket just to see good wrestling. They're buying a ticket for who's in that main event, baby.
Yeah.
And when Hogan was in that main event, that's when the fucking business was at its biggest. And Stone Cold had to come and give him a run for his money.
Yep.
And that's been the only two. And yet, you can make an argument for Cena and maybe, I know they're making a lot of money now. But when the business was like the traditional business format, he's what made it go national.
Yeah.
And he's what packed fucking, they say 96, Meltzer says 79,000, but however many, a shit ton of people in the WrestleMania 3.
Yeah.
And him and Andre is still the thing that's talked about as one of the biggest wrestling things ever. He is the golden era. And the fact that he's not one is insane. I don't want to spend the whole list just bitching about placement, but he's the guy. This is his era. This is Hogan's rock and wrestling in the golden era.
I'm shocked. I'm not the biggest Hogan fan, but I expect him to be number 1.
And and personally, each guy that's after him, I like better than him. Yeah, and I like their career better. But you can't argue the numbers and the facts and the success and what it did for the industry. You just can't argue that with him. He was the fucking guy. He was wrestling.
Right. Yeah,
I'm kind of speechless.
I think, and again, it's just...
Well, he's WWE.
Yeah.
Like how you would say Ric Flair's wrestling, WWE and what it is Hogan.
Yeah. So, yeah, this one was kind of a shock. When I saw he was going to be number 5, I was just like, whoa.
I'm surprised he even was in the tiebreaker.
How long was he
run away with that
long consecutive run before he lost it?
4 years.
Yeah, 4-year run. Roman Reigns, eat your fucking heart out. It was longer, right?
I don't think Reigns beat his reign.
Uh-huh.
No, he did not.
All right, good. Well, yeah, because I remember this.
No, he was 4 months away from being.
Yeah, because they were. I remember it being like, "Oh, he's going to be Cody, so they can break the record." But Hogan keeps it. Number 4. Well, he doesn't. It wasn't like Backlund fucking champion for way longer.
Backlund was champion for 5.5 years.
Yeah, so there's. But number 4, or do we have Clint? Do you have anything on Hogan?
Well, I'm gonna say Hogan was like one of my favorite stars.
Yeah.
Back when I was a kid, so 90 era Hogan, yeah, I was. He was more like everybody's childhood hero. Even though you had no idea what wrestling was, you all knew who Hulk Hogan was.
Right.
When you're talking theme songs, Real American is just this fucking.
So I think we can all agree that this is kind of a shocker that he's number 5.
It's not a shocker to me because for traditional wrestling fans and for the hardcore fans, he's not always their favorite. They like guys like the 3 I said, Perfect, fucking Rude, and DiBiase. And obviously the people that come after Hogan on this list.
At the very least, I thought he was going to be top 3.
But I mean, to me, a lot of people are there for the main event. The guy even though he wasn't really in the main event,
right?
But he was. I mean, he was the main.
Yeah.
Event. All right. Number 4, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
This is one of the ones where everybody's just going to be like, really?
Well, he was one of the hottest babyface. Besides Hogan, he was kind of that number 2 hottest babyface for a while. Everyone loved the Dragon. And you talk about WrestleMania 3, you can't talk. Yes, Hogan and Andre was a spectacle. You can't talk about that event without talking about him and Macho.
Absolutely.
It's still considered like the greatest match ever. And not even just WrestleMania match. Some people consider it the greatest match to ever exist.
The greatest wrestling match ever to take place.
And yes, I do. I kind of prefer him, in WCW.
Yeah.
And I prefer him with the trilogy with Flair. But you can't deny how popular he was. The kids loved him.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, especially when he became the Dragon, because he became the Dragon in the WWF.
Yeah. He did keep the name, though, didn't he? He was one of the few guys that got to.
Yes.
I remember didn't they just call him the Dragon sometimes?
In 1991, he came in. He was not known as Ricky. I mean, on his merchandise, on his Hasbro, he was Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Okay. But they only called him the Dragon.
Yeah, I remember like watching stuff, right? It's like the Dragon. It's like, oh, I thought that's Ricky Steamboat. But he was great. Number 3, the other guy that made WrestleMania 3 a possibility.
Yeah.
I think Vince McMahon's favorite wrestler ever, Andre the Giant.
Yeah, Andre is like...
He's royalty.
Yeah.
You can't touch him. Everybody loved him. He's another one that fucking, like, when you talk about Taker as the locker room leader, he's like the OG.
Well, and here's the thing is that, like, with Taker, Andre, if you did something to anybody that happened to be a friend of Andre's, Andre would hate you for life.
Yeah. Hold the grudge.
Yeah.
But if he loved you, he loved you.
Yeah.
And he helped make guys. Like, yes, Hogan was already a star. They were already rocking and rolling, but he made him in that night. Taking that fucking slam around the world. That's all you needed.
What?
Can I guess who number 2 is?
Can we get to it first?
Do you have any opinions on Andre?
Andre was a big impact in wrestling, in the 80s especially.
I thought he was going to say Andre was a giant.
And it's crazy because he's another one when we're talking about the guys like the JYDs and stuff.
Yeah.
He's another one that for the WWF territory before the Golden Era and for multiple, he was the guy that would come and you do a Battle Royal, Andre wins.
Yeah.
He was a big territory attraction. And that's back when, like, this era was his most popular and he was huge, but he couldn't fucking move.
Right.
This is when he stopped being able to actually perform, even though it was still fun and spectacle matches, so he didn't really need to. But back in his day, he could actually really go.
So when he worked the matches with Randy Savage used to cover himself back when he did the short tights, would cover himself in the baby oil.
Yeah.
Andre would be like, no baby oil. Get out. Because Savage would be like, Andre, what do you want? Get that baby oil out of the locker room. And then he would go in the ring and he would just beat the shit out of Savage. And he would look at Elizabeth and be like, Elizabeth, you can do better. And just start smacking the shit out of Randy.
Yeah.
He hated him.
All right, who's number 2, Eric?
Warrior.
No, he's not on the list.
No, he said Warrior. You were on the show last week, right?
Yeah.
Warrior came in at 38.
Oh, I would take half in and out because I wasn't feeling good, so I forgot.
Yeah, that's
Sorry.
true. You have a different guess?
No. I think I know who number 1 is, but I don't think he's number
Plymouth,
2.
who do you think's number 2?
Let's see. Golden Air. Number 2. We already did Ric Flair. Yeah. Anderson. I want to see Macho.
Close. The rowdy one, Roddy Piper.
Oh. Okay.
Which, he was the first big heel for Hogan.
Yeah.
WrestleMania 1. I mean, he is the guy. He was the ultimate heel. And he's a guy that could go both ways. Yes, he's like the best heel of all time, but he was a great babyface.
Oh, absolutely.
And Piper's Pit around this time, like it was the show. It took over all the other shows.
When he started doing babyface Piper's Pits in like 86, 87, like when he had Harley Race on and he's like, you know what, Harley, I'm going to crown you, and then put a toilet seat on his head.
When did the dude smoke in his face?
WrestleMania 5.
Yeah, that was fucking amazing.
Don't blow no more smoke in my face. And then he did, and then Piper got him with the fire extinguisher.
No one could cut a promo like him. Like, I remember a long time ago on Off the Record, that show would kind of the first like actual show on TV where people were doing shoot interviews in the company in WWE. And Ric Flair went on there, and they were showing an old Ric Flair, and he's like, "See, Bret Hart couldn't do that. No, the only person that Hogan couldn't do it, the only person that could do something like that was Roddy Piper." And he's right. Those are the two best promos to ever exist. The Rock can take all his catchphrases and shove it off this guy. I love The Rock, but still, those two are the best promos.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Dusty, yes, there's more, but those, especially for a heel promo, you can't get better than Roddy Piper.
Right.
The passion, the vigor, he's just fierce as fuck. There's just something so undeniable. And the fact that he wouldn't ever really lose to Hogan, it just made him so fucking cool. In an era where everybody lost to Hogan, he would be like, "No, you beat one by count out, pussy." Like he was like, you gotta love Piper. He's one of your favorites.
Oh, absolutely, he's one of my favorites.
These next two are two of your favorites.
Yeah. So, Piper being number 2. It looked like at one point he could have been number 1.
Which that's what's funny about this list, and we were talking, and I don't want to get you in trouble, but the thing about it being controversial, besides Steamboat, this is close to your actual list. Hogan would not be your number 1. Yes, in terms of impact, but not as favorite.
I would have put him at to be honest with you, I would have put him at like number 3 or 4.
Yeah, exactly. And these two right here are before him.
Yeah.
So it's not that far off of
it. To me, all right, my top 5 golden era guys. Savage, Piper. I would have put Hogan because there's no golden era without Hogan. I would have put Andre. I would have put Jake.
Yeah, I don't think you can get better than that.
So no,
you would take out Steamboat.
Like I said, I'm probably taking Jake out for DiBiase myself.
Yeah.
And I love Jake, but
I would have put Steamboat probably at like 7 or 8 because he was an important part.
Yeah,
he was an important piece in the puzzle.
He meant a lot to WrestleMania 1 and 3.
Yeah,
because he had the best match on both cards. Him and Doink went. or P-Doink.
And even like WrestleMania 2, he had a really good match with Hercules, which actually at one point was supposed to be Bret Hart.
Which would have been way fucking better.
Yeah. They told Bret to say, yeah, you're going to work Steamboat at WrestleMania 2. Cool. And then they're like, nah, instead, we're going to give the match to Hercules because we're trying to push him. So then they had a match at Boston Garden like a few weeks beforehand that was really good.
And we brought up the man's name, but let's just get drum roll into our number one so Clinton can watch SmackDown. We're going to be talking about Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh, that one off. That's why he said it was off.
Yeah, it was close, and he's one of the most beloved figures in wrestling, and it's completely deserved. And there's a huge fragment that like believe the backstage stuff and like aren't fans of Hogan and love Savage.
Yeah,
I feel like he fucked him over, which there has been evidence throughout the years, but still, and Macho was a huge part of this era. That that's what people think of when they think of wrestling, and they think of Macho Man. You think of Hogan and you think of Macho. There's just Hogan did it later, but in this era, Macho proved that he was a great babyface and he was a great heel.
Macho.
Even though he was mostly manager, Bobby Heenan is in my top 5. I would actually completely agree with that.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, Macho is the guy, and I'm completely, like I said, did Hogan get robbed a little bit? Probably, but Macho, I have Macho over Hogan on my personal list.
Yeah,
I love Macho Man. When I talked about all these other guys having the big three, which is the look, the promo, and the match, is the best example.
Oh, 100%.
He's the best in-ring wrestler of this era. Him and Perfect are like 1 and 2. And then his promo was fantastic. The Mega Powers exploding is the best storyline of this era. And that's obviously him. And him and Liz are the king and queen.
Yeah.
So
Clennis had enough. Clennis was like, God damn it, I'm watching SmackDown.
Which Elizabeth was on here, right?
Yeah, she came in at 29, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Savage, number one, obviously one of the best workers, one of the best characters, one of the best promos. I'm happy he's number one. By the way, him and Piper, it was a 15 or no, not 15. It was 12 votes in between the two. And then
there you go.
And
Undisputed.
yeah. And then there was like 3 votes in between Piper and Andre.
Besides Tully and Tito and the ones we talked about, who are some honorable mentions that didn't quite make the cut?
Captain Lou Albano.
Oh,
he just missed it.
He should have been out here. Take away Brooklyn Brawler, put it Albano.
Yeah. Also, Clemens wants to get on here for the last couple of minutes.
I didn't mean that. I was like, I had to take the bathroom break. I threw my phone. I was like, yeah, I have to go to the bathroom up there. I threw my phone in the bed. It's like, okay.
Also, Dynamite Kid. Well, I can actually tell you who. Because I got a list of like how everybody ranked on here. And so 10 votes is what the last person needed to get on the list. And then so Captain Lou just missed it. Superstar Billy Graham just missed it.
Did Ventura miss it?
Yeah, let me look at his numbers. Where is he? Let's see.
Outlaw Ron Bass. Paul Bear.
Yeah, Paul Bear. Jesse Ventura just missed it.
I can see that.
He just missed. Let's see who else. Bruno Sammartino was close on here. Marty Jannetty was actually close. You know, he could have made it on. Ivan Putski, he was close. Mountie was just a couple of votes off.
The Mountie.
Dino Bravo was just a couple of votes off. Barry Horowitz was just a couple of votes off. Kamala was just a few votes off. Akeem. Yeah.
All right, brother. What are we doing next week? Because you get to pick.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I get one more. I get one more week of terror.
What do you got?
WWF Battle of the Superstars 1992. It's a Coliseum home video release. I think it's kind of fun.
And it's on the vault?
It's on the vault.
Like YouTube vote?
Yeah.
Yeah, the WWE Vault channel on YouTube.
And it has commentary, Clement.
You sure?
Guys,
Yes, it's a home video release.
I'm just checking.
Just check.
the WWF Battle of the.
The 1992 Battle of the WWF Superstars.
So there you go. All right. Your cartoon show.
Tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Eastern Time on the When Tunes Combine YouTube channel. Dave will be back, so Eric's Lips will be back on his tuchus. We are going to have Super Mario World take on Gravedale High. Mob Psycho 100 is going to take on Ace of the Diamond. American Dad is going to take on the Tick. And the main event is going to be Batman Beyond versus Digimon. Perfect. This is with a couple of these battles. This is the perfect episode if you want to take a couple of hits of something before you watch. Because American Dad versus the Tick. Holy Christ.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
You're telling people to do drugs before a cartoon show.
I said if they wanted to.
And you could have been talking a couple of hits of cereal.
Yeah, exactly.
All
A
right.
couple of hits of cereal, a couple of hits of, peanut butter, fluff.
You are fluff. All right,
I'm
Eric.
full of fluff.
Eric, do the shorts, please.
Yes, sir.
And we'll see everybody next time.
Later.
See you
Love
guys.
you guys. No.